So it's finally here, the new Nakamichi Shockwafe 11.2.6 soundbar is in the house. Now this soundbar has eARC support for audio, Dolby Atmos, DTSX, and 2300 watts of peak power, and it's huge. Now for this video, I'm using the Hisense U8N. It does have eARC support for audio. I tested movies, gaming, music, and I also have the previous model, and I'll show you the biggest difference they made. So welcome to the channel. I'm Joelster, and let's do this. Now, first of all, what I like about this system is that everything that you need is included. There are two 10-inch subs, two rear speakers, and the soundbar. We also have 4 power cables for each rear speakers and subs, and 1 HDMI 2.1 cable. There's also a power brick for the soundbar with its cable, and the remote control with batteries and instructions. Now the design is completely different from the previous model. I actually have it right here mounted on my wall, and you can see the size difference. The new Shockwave is massive compared to the previous model. It measures 54 inches length by 9 inches depth by around 3.5 inches height. So make sure you have enough space to sit the soundbar. I do love the design. It's matte black with mesh in the front and also the top speakers. There are touch sensitive buttons on top, which I'm not a big fan of, and you know if you have pets or especially cats. In the back of the soundbar, we have one USB port, optical, auxiliary, and DC for power. On the other side, we have 3 HDMI 2.1 ports. One goes to the TV and the other 2 you can connect other devices. There's a total of 14 speakers in the soundbar, including 5 tweeters powered by Punkittle. Now, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Punkittle, correct me if I'm wrong. And there are 4 high channels for spatial audio. The rear surround speakers are also huge. They now feature 3 speakers and 2 tweeters with a total of 200 watts per each surround speaker. There's one up-firing channel for spatial audio, and they don't connect to the subs anymore. You just need the power, and they connect directly to the soundbar wirelessly. Now here's a comparison to the previous rear speakers. Look, the size difference is just humongous. The subwoofers are also massive. They are now 10-inch subs compared to 8-inch from previous model, and they have a flare port designed and 450 watts of power, which is basically like the same power from the previous model as well. They also just need power, and they connect to the soundbar wirelessly. And the connection is seamless. As soon as you power up the soundbar, they automatically pair up. If not, there's this pair button on each speaker for easy connection. Oh my God, this is insane. The first thing I noticed is how clean the audio is. It's not just loud, it's clean. You can hear every little detail of watching movies or whatever you're doing. You can hear everything. Let's go! Damn. Dolby Atmos movies sound amazing in this soundbar, especially because of the audio separation. You know, the rear surround speakers are very loud and clear as well, so you can hear the voices in the front or whatever the action is happening in the front. But in the rear speakers, you can hear the bullets bouncing, explosions and everything. They just sound incredible. Now, this is one of my favorite Dolby Atmos test or video sample that you find here. It's just freaking amazing, dude. I can hear like the rear speakers, the separation is amazing, but also what I love about Nakamichi soundbars is the bass. Oh, sound you can feel the bass. My whole room is rumbling right now. Yeah, that is something that I love about Nakamichi soundbars, the dual bass system.
Left. Center.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
Right surround.
Right surround.
Right rear surround.
Okay.
Left rear surround.
Okay. Oh.
Left surround. Left top rear.
Wow.
Left top front. Right top front. Right top rear. LFE.
Subwoofer.
Left.
Okay.
Center.
Okay, it's repeating itself. Wow. So you guys just heard the sound separation of basically each side or each speaker. But I'm surprised with the rear surround speakers, how the sound separation is even on the highs, the ones that the speakers are pointing to the ceiling and the sound is supposed to bounce back. My God, it is so loud. So yeah, you can hear every single aspect of the movies right here with this soundbar. Love that. So if you're into gaming, this soundbar also works excellent. This is Assassin's Creed Shadows. This game is beautiful, highly recommended. And you can hear like everything in the back here, in the front, the sound separation, love it. So you're gonna feel like more immersive experience. That's how I feel, at least for now. Even if the game doesn't have Dolby Atmos, the system is going to enhance the audio and it's going to sound beautiful.
Holy shit, what just happened?
You guys gotta try this game, Midnight, Sound of Midnight I think it's called. Has some insane soundtrack. Love this game. I don't know if it has Dolby Atmos support. Maybe it does, I'm not sure, but it sounds freaking insane. Especially this scene with lots of rain. Look at that. Like everything is going on in this game is crazy. So there's also DTSX support in this soundbar. I know a lot of people, a lot of movies are actually with Dolby Atmos, but there's also a few movies with DTSX support. And I think it sounds great, it sounds fantastic. And one more thing I wanted to mention is the remote control. Now, this remote control is a little bit big, it's a little bulky, and I'm not a big fan of it. But what I do like is that it does have a backlight support. So if I press any button, I don't know if you guys can see it right here. If I press a button, there is backlit, so it lights up every time I press something right here, which is nice. I love that feature. And one more thing that I like about this remote control is that you can control pretty much every single aspect of the soundbar. You don't have to rely on the little display, although it's nice and everything, but the control, with just one press of a button, you can change, for example, you can change to a different port, HDMI or Bluetooth. And also you have presets, movie, music, game. So it's really easy to access everything. And then right here at the bottom, you have control of, can you focus? Yeah. So over here at the bottom, you have control of everything from each surround sound speaker, the front, the center, the bass. Like you can control pretty much everything with the remote control. There's also this feature called adaptive high dispersion, which basically enhances the surround sound effect with just this little simple buttons right here. You press it and then you can change the effect. For right now, I'm using the wide mode, but there's also ultra, which is like a little bit more like an enhancement on that. I can hear it, and then you can turn it off. When it's turned off, I feel like the sound is a little bit more flat. It's more concentrated in the soundbar rather than the rear speakers, but that's just how I feel. And there's also focal and wide. I feel like wide is somewhere balanced, but you can also control the height of the surround sound with these little buttons right here at the bottom. So for example, I press the height right now is at 7, 8, 9, 10. I think 10 is the maximum that you can go, but I'll leave it at 7. And that is from the right speaker. And you can go on the left speaker, which is really, really nice that you have control over everything. All right, so I guess the real question is, should you upgrade if you already own the previous Shockwave model? So here's a comparison video that I did between this new Shockwave and the older Shockwave. All right, so here is the previous Shockwave, and the first thing I notice is that the voice, the dialogue, the mids are not as clean. The bass is insane. That's what I like about it. The bass is going to be loud and it's going to rumble. The whole room just vibrates. It's beautiful. One thing I have to mention is that the soundbar is sitting behind the TV, so it's not going to be as clear clean as the soundbar in the front, but still you can clearly hear the sound is not as clean as the newest Shockwave. Now, the first thing I noticed with the new Shockwave is how clean the sound is. And I mentioned this before throughout the video. It's just they're using different kind of speakers, I guess, and they just insanely beautiful. The audio separation, the mids, the dialogue, everything sounds perfectly aligned. And also the bass, it has the kick power, it's loud, my whole room rumbles. It's just beautiful. I really love this new soundbar from Nakamichi. So there you have it, guys. If you're in the market for a new soundbar, this is one of the best sound systems available right now without the hustle of all the wiring of the receiver, speakers here and there, nothing. This is a very simple, easy to use system, and the sound is just, I will say, like cinematic. You know, when you go to a movie theater, especially like an IMAX theater where you have the best sound available, or a Dolby theater, that is the same feeling that I'm getting. That's why it's so easy for me to recommend this soundbar. It's just impressive sound. I will leave a link in the description of the video if you want to order the new Shockwave from Nakamichi. Also, if you prefer the previous model, it's in a great sound system too. I have the Shockwave 7.2.4, I believe, but there's also the 9.2.4 Ultra, which is like a step higher than the model I have. And trust me, those are great soundbar systems. I will also leave a link in the description of the video for the Shockwave Ultra. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please leave a like, subscribe to the channel. I'm Jolster, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Jolster out!